Day in the Premiership with Ray Stubbs.
Good afternoon. On the final day of the season, here in the Final Score studio, Gavin, Peacock, Lee Dixon and Garth Crooks are watching the matches that will decide who wins the Barclays Premier League title, who will be relegated, who will stay up. Let's immediately hear from the JJB.
United look firmly in the driving seat in terms of the title. It's been an extraordinary afternoon, weather-wise, hot, beating sun, followed by torrential rain, thunder and lightning, which still continues around the ground. Drama on the pitch to match those conditions, with Wigan really putting up a fight here today. They've had numerous penalty appeals dismissed, but the one that mattered was scored from the spot by Ronaldo, and that still divides the sides here. It's 1-0.
And the Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge will be well aware of that scoreline, no doubt. Developments at the bridge as we speak. Roger Johnson reporting.
And the Manchester United fans will now be aware that Chelsea are ahead here. It's taken them just over an hour. Andrei Shevchenko, on as a substitute at half-time, has scored it after Bolton's resolute defence was finally breached. They couldn't fully clear a corner, and Shevchenko rammed it in from inside the 6-yard box when the ball broke to him. Drogba's had several other chances for Chelsea. Malouda's hit the crossbar. That's the only one that really matters. Chelsea also have seen captain John Terry stretchered off. It was a suspected broken arm, but the initial unconfirmed reports suggest it may only be tissue damage. Still a worry for the Champions League. The Premier League is preoccupying them here, and Chelsea lead Bolton 1-0.
But they're still the champions. Manchester United still the champions, although Chelsea have scored. Relegation-wise, immediately to Derby's Pride Park, where third-bottom Reading are playing already relegated Rams. Alan Biggs reporting.
Reading running riot towards probable safety at this stage. They're now 3-0 up with a third goal from Kevin Doyle on a substitute a few minutes ago for Dave Kitson. Nobody reckoned it would be quite this easy, but frankly, all Reading's concerns are elsewhere. There are none on the pitch here. Only the worry for the players, for Steve Coppell, for the 3,000 travelling fans that Fulham might spoil the party. Derby have been pretty dreadful even by their standards, but credit Reading for a calm, assured performance. Great early goal, flighted shot from James Harper, his 6th of the season and then the 10th of the campaign for Dave Kitson on the rebound from a shot that was only parried. Now Kevin Doyle has made it 3 and Reading are almost safe.
But a Fulham goal will send Reading down. Are Fulham going to pull off a remarkable escape from relegation? Fulham appeared dead and buried a few weeks ago, but if they win at FA Cup finalist Portsmouth, they're safe. Andy Barwell reporting.
It's goalless at the moment. Fulham's Premier League status is on the line. Their only away wins in the league have come in the last 2 matches on the road. They definitely need to make it 3 in a row if they're to survive, but at the moment it's 0-0. Hard to see where a goal's coming from. Strikers McBride and Kamara have barely had a sniff of a chance. Portsmouth's Nico Cranchard's gone closest to breaking the deadlock, but it's Portsmouth 0, Fulham 0.
At St Andrews, watching the Birmingham Blackburn game, it's Andrew James.
Ray, Birmingham 1, Blackburn 1, and you sense that news of his results and scorelines elsewhere has sunk in here. Tremendous atmosphere at the start of the game. Birmingham ahead in the first half. David Murphy, a strike which went straight through the normally sound Brad Friedel. But then Blackburn, more or less straight after the restart, getting an equaliser through Morton Gamps Pedersen, and an air of sort of dejection around St Andrews at the moment. Birmingham 1, Blackburn 1.
Well, the intensity of this has changed in the final few minutes because Manchester United were leading, but while Chelsea weren't, it didn't really matter. Now Chelsea have their goal. Wigan can throw this around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think United have been rather lucky, certainly in the first 45. In my opinion, Rio Ferdinand should have had a penalty given against him. And then Steve Bennett, for some inexplicable reason, decides not to send Scholes off for a second yellow, when for me, he clearly should have gone for a second yellow. Now, I thought he bottled it, Steve Bennett.
Manchester United need a second goal quickly because Wigan are making a real fight of this.
Well, they do. It's with Chelsea now winning, it's all boiled down to Wigan and can they get back in the game. And the evidence of that, United are not bang on their game. They've created a few chances, but Wigan are creating problems at the other end. And it only takes one goal is going to switch it round again. So, I mean, it's going to go to the wire. We've said that all week.
Is Shevchenko going to prove to be the man that turns it round for Chelsea?
Well, quite amazing. When he came on at half-time, I think the three of us here looked and thought, well, maybe he couldn't do it. But Chelsea have really been cranking up the pressure. Bolton have performed well at the back. They've been defending really well. Chelsea had about 3 or 4 corners on the spin, and when it came to Shevchenko, he just seemed to be in the right position at that sort of far post area, and he's knocked it in and could be the hero for them.
It's not over. Wigan are making a game of this. Everton need a point against Newcastle to confirm they'll finish 5th and earn a place in next season's UEFA Cup. Richard Ascombe's at Goodison Park.
They're on course just at the moment, Ray. Everton 1, Newcastle 1. An easy first half for Everton, capped by Yakubu's 20th of the season, set the tone for what looked like being a comfortable victory. But when Charles Nzogby was brought down and Owen converted from the spot, the Goodison nerves have really started to jangle. Everton are pressing. They have had chances. Fernandes has gone close, but they can't find that second goal that really would seal their UEFA Cup spot.
Aston Villa have been in the hunt for the UEFA Cup spot that goes to the team finishing 5th. They're finishing their season away at West Ham, who could slip out of the bottom half of the table if they don't win. Mark Bishop reporting.
West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2. Aston Villa haven't won at Upton Park in the league for 12 years, Ray, but they're on course and they're ahead after Gareth Barry, whose own future at Villa is reportedly in doubt, lashed home from close range after Green did brilliantly to parry Rio Coca's effort. Then 3 minutes after that, it could have been 2 goals for West Ham. First of all, Pencil's effort cleared off the line, and then Zamora's header rattled the crossbar. Solano's free kick, edge of the penalty area, put West Ham ahead. Then Ashley Young's 10-yarder equalised, but Barry's goal could prove decisive. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2.
Another Newcastle goal would really help Aston Villa. A fact before Manchester City's match at Middlesbrough got underway was that Sven-Göran Eriksson could have taken City to their highest ever Premier League finish, but still get the sack. It's Steve Sutton at the Riverside, but it's all gone horribly wrong for City this afternoon.
Oh, it couldn't have got much worse for them, really, Ray. They now trail by 5-0, and if this is Mr. Eriksson's last game, he's not going to take happy memories away with him. Adam Johnson, the second-half substitute, has just got Middlesbrough's 5th. It took a massive deflection, by the way, and left keeper Isaacson completely stranded. Stuart Downing's got 2, and Alves has got 2, although one of them may go down as an own goal to Fernandes. But City down to 10 men. Richard Dunn send off in complete disarray. It's a stroll in the park for Middlesbrough.
Wigan have just got incredibly close to scoring. Meanwhile, a goal at Goodison Park. Richard Ascombe.
It's gone to Everton, Ray. Everton 2, Newcastle 1. Julian Lescott at the back post after a great chip by Fernandes. Lescott calmly steering the ball into the bottom corner. His 10th goal of the season, and that will probably seal Everton's UEFA Cup spot.
Another goal at St Andrews. Is it too late for Birmingham? They have to win and hope. Andrew James.
They've got to hope, Ray. Birmingham 2, Blackburn 1. Cameron Jerome on as a substitute for Mikel Forssell just a few moments ago. Bad miss first of all, but then a few moments later, a good goal from him. It's Birmingham 2, Blackburn 1.
Let's go to White Hart Lane now. David Garrido's following the Tottenham-Liverpool game. No, we can't go there at the moment. We'll catch up with what's happening there in the few moments to come. Wigan just went so close to equalising. That was very, very close. Did you see the reaction shot of Sir Alex Ferguson?
Yeah, it was a great header. He got up above the hot. There was about 6 players jumping for the ball. He rose. Van der Sar was beaten, and the camera went straight to Sir Alex Ferguson.
And he knew. He went very close.
If you could lip read, you knew it was very close.
Yeah, this is not over, Garth, at all, is it? Not over in the slightest.
No, I said earlier, and I'll say it again, I think the integrity of the Premier League is right intact, because at Wigan and Man United, Wigan have been fantastic. Bolton have been fantastic at Chelsea. You know, everybody has been giving full pelt. The effort has been there for everybody.
Are Manchester United starting to show any sort of nerves, because Wigan are coming at them?
They are. I mean, still, you've seen glimpses of United's good football and good play, but Wigan have been a team that have really impressed, because they've stopped them really dominating them too much, and they've shown some teeth themselves, and they've made a real game of it.
There's plenty of time to go at the JJB Stadium and at Stamford Bridge. Both those games kicked off together. I'm hearing news of a goal in one of the key games, a goal at Portsmouth. Andy Barwell is watching the Portsmouth-Fulham game. Which way has it gone?
And it's a big, big goal for Fulham. It's Danny Murphy. He got on the end of a terrific free kick from Jimmy Bullard. Bullard's really upped the game and really turned up the ante here at Fratton Park. And it was head tennis in the area, but somehow Danny Murphy got there. Jamie Ashdown, the Portsmouth keeper, couldn't get to it. It's a big goal for Fulham. And looking down, Roy Hodgson, the manager, is calmly sitting in his seat. Now he's getting up to offer a bit of encouragement to the players. They've got to hang on to this lead here at Fratton Park if they're to maintain their Premier League status. At the moment, though, Portsmouth 0, Fulham 1.
That relegates Reading. Let's go to Pride Park. Alan Biggs, as the news filtered through.
It certainly has, Ray. The Reading fans, over 3,000 of them, have gone silent and indeed static after bobbing up and down in the last few minutes. There have been some ironic cheers from Derby fans about the possible plight of Reading, who almost scored a fourth goal just now, but that doesn't really matter. Events elsewhere do, even though Reading lead this one 3-0.
Well, it's absolutely quite remarkable. Fulham's fight to safety is just terrific, Garth.
Jimmy Bullard has turned this season around for Fulham. Another great flighted free kick into the box. Murphy, just a few moments ago, missed a similar opportunity. Buries this one. They're staying up as it stands at the moment.
You have to say,
nothing but praise for Fulham.
You have to say, if they win today, 3 away wins on the spin, they've never done that in the Premier League.
They deserve to stay up.
Absolutely outstanding.
And
Roy
how
Hodgson's
cool,
brilliant.
how cool has their manager been? You know, he's been criticising one or two corners for not showing enough maybe expression or passion, but he's remained cool and cool nerves of what's needed here.
Still time for the situation to change again. Portsmouth could equalise. To White Hart Lane, David Garrido.
Well, Liverpool have just doubled their lead. They went 1-0 up with Andre Voronin bursting into the box after a ball from Alvaro Arbeloa and Fernando Torres with the flick on. And then Torres himself, such a classy performer on this stage. Ball on the left-hand side, cut inside, slid the ball home. His 33rd goal of the season. It's Spurs 0, Liverpool 2.
33 goals for Torres, but it's the goal at Fratton Park that has really revved up the final day of this Premier League season this afternoon. Is there another twist and turn? Are Wigan going to equalise and give the title to Chelsea? Are Manchester United going to be Premier League champions for the 10th time in 16 years? Still plenty of time for scorelines to change. Let's go to the Stadium of Light for an update on the Sunderland-Arsenal match. Damien Johnson.
Sunderland 0, Arsenal 1. Theo Walcott's first half strike the difference. He raced onto a great through ball from Gilberto and finished well. Sunderland have fashioned plenty of chances. Kenwyne Jones, by the way, departed at half-time with a hand or wrist injury. Roy O'Donovan's his replacement. He's wasted 3 decent chances to score. There's a party atmosphere amongst a full house at the Stadium of Light, despite the fact that the home side trail by a goal to 0.
A quick check on a couple of other results already in. In the SPL title race, Celtic had a home game with Hibs, a match watched by Roddy Forsyth.
At worst, Celtic have guaranteed the Scottish title race will go to the last day of this extended season, a week on Thursday. But they could in fact claim their third successive title without kicking another ball, although that would depend on Rangers losing their 2 games in hand, away to Motherwell on Saturday and against St Mirren at Love Street a week tomorrow. In an attractive open match with fine football from both sides, Celtic's reward came with goals late in each half from Stephen McManus and Scott McDonald, and it could have been more had the post not kept out a splendid Nakamura free kick. Hibs finished with 9 men after red cards for Canning and Murray, but for Celtic now, the championship has become a waiting game.
Celtic have a 4-point lead. Rangers have 2 games in hand. And in the Championship playoffs, Watford versus Hull was a lunchtime kickoff. Conor McNamara reporting.
If Watford are going to make it to the Championship playoff final, they are going to have to do it the hard way. In an entertaining game played in high temperatures, a series of controversial decisions went against the home team. Watford were denied a goal after just 4 minutes. Danny Shiddu's header from a corner was disallowed. TV replays failed to provide a reasonable reason why. Watford finished the game with only 10 men. Their captain John Eustace was sent off. He will now miss the second leg through suspension. Hull's goals came from their 2 old-timers, Nick Barmby and Dean Windass. Manager Phil Brown, though, won't be taking anything for granted. 12 years ago, as a player with Blackpool, they once led Bradford 2-0 after the first leg of a playoff semi, but then lost 3-0 at home in the second.
It's a terrific result for Hull City in the playoffs, trying to get themselves into the top flight of English football for the first time. Right, let's get back to the JJB Stadium. Wigan against Manchester United. Ivan Gaskell reporting. How long to go, Ivan?
Yes, we're into the last 15 minutes of normal time in the title race. Still Wigan 0, Manchester United 1. You get a sense that Sir Alex might just turn into Corporal Jones on that United bench now. A spot of don't panic, but they don't have to panic here because, as I speak, Wigan launch another attack. And they clear it again very calmly, just as Sir Alex would like them to. At each end there's been a chance, a close shave, a Heskey header that you described earlier, just narrowly over the crossbar, and Vidic at the other end, just inches wide. It's still tense, nervous, reach for the headache pills. It's still 0-1.
Wigan's performance has been full of intensity and determination this afternoon, and there is still plenty of time to go. To Stamford Bridge, Roger Johnson, Chelsea against Bolton.
It remains Chelsea 1, Bolton 0. Andrei Shevchenko's goal just after half-time still gives Chelsea that edge in this game, and all eyes on the JJB and whether Wigan can swing the pendulum back in Chelsea's favour. El Hadj Diouf has gone off for Bolton, having tested Petr Cech with Bolton's best chance of the game. He's been replaced by Stelios. Al Habsi has just made a good save from Joe Cole, who danced through the Bolton defence before shooting powerfully goalwards. But Chelsea still lead 1-0, 14 minutes to play.
Manchester United, the champions, as things stand. Relegated, looks like it's Reading. Fulham are going to pull off a miraculous recovery, unless the situation changes at Fratton Park. Andy Barwell.
They still lead, Fulham do, by a goal to nil, but what do Fulham do? Do they sit back or try and get a second to put the game to bed? Well, they look very, very solid in defence with Hangeland and Hughes. They're playing really, really well as a unit this afternoon. Some substitutions, Milan Baros on for Kanu for Portsmouth, and also Sean Davis is on for Pedro Mendes. A change as well by Fulham. Eric Nevland, the Norwegian international, he's replaced Clint Dempsey. But it's that goal at the moment from Danny Murphy that separates the two sides. And who knows, it could ensure Fulham's Premier League status. Portsmouth 0, Fulham 1.
Manchester City's season is ending in absolute disarray. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, it's now Middlesbrough 6, Manchester City 0. I suspect that Sven-Göran Eriksson wishes he'd been sacked before this game and not after it. Rockenbach, Fabio Rockenbach's added the 6th with an absolute bullet of a free kick from 30 yards out, left the keeper Isaacson with absolutely no chance. Middlesbrough 6, Man City 0.
Lee, what has happened at Manchester City? Thaksin Shinawatara's decision to sack Sven-Göran Eriksson, it seems to have rebounded on the club in totally. What a way. They're going out of the season with just absolute hammering.
It is, and what could happen, I mean, Dunn's been sent off as well, which does damage to their fair play league chances as well. So everything happened after the 15th minute when he got sent off, and I think there's going to be more news in the summer, because the fans in Manchester, certainly the blue half of Manchester, are distraught that he's been sacked, and they think it's not acceptable.
Just over 10 minutes to go with this Barclays Premier League season, Garth. Manchester United the champions. Fulham are going to stay up, which is absolutely remarkable. But Wigan could still have a hand in it and give the title to Chelsea. Although who knows, Bolton could equalise and make sure that the title's definitely going to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Who can forecast what twists and turns lie ahead?
Absolutely. And to end it all, it looks like that the 10 men Manchester City players left on the field have stuck 2 fingers up to Shinawatra.
Is that the way you see it?
That's the way I see it, yeah.
Now, what about Fulham? All we can do is praise the way they fought back. Dead and buried a few weeks ago.
Yeah. You're right, but I'm just looking... I can't help... Chelsea have just defended, kicked the ball off the line. I'm sorry, Ray.
Let's get back to Stamford Bridge and Roger Johnson, Chelsea against Bolton.
It's still Chelsea 1, Bolton 0, and Chelsea springing a counter-attack from that clearance which Garth just remarked upon. It's come to nothing. The ball was played into the penalty area. Petr Cech came racing out to get a punch on it. It was headed immediately back goalwards by Matthew Taylor, and it was dipping just under the bar, and John Obi Mikel, just on as a sub, I think was the man who just managed to head it away. I don't think there was any question it crossed the line. Chelsea still lead 1-0. They're keeping up their end of the bargain. We have 11 minutes to go here. Can Wigan get an equaliser to help Chelsea out?
Let's immediately go to the JJB Stadium. Wigan against Manchester United. Ivan Gaskell.
Tie the red and white ribbons on the trophy. United lead 2-0. Just 10 minutes left. And if you were to name the perfect man to score the goal that clinched the title, who would that man be? His name is Giggs, Ryan Giggs. Cool as you like, 2-0.
On the day, he equals Sir Bobby Charlton's appearance record. Ryan Giggs has sealed the title for Manchester United, it would appear. As the news filtered through to Stamford Bridge, Roger Johnson.
I think it has, slowly but surely. I think there's been a sense of expectation here all afternoon that probably Wigan will be unable to do Chelsea a favour. Drogba now is getting himself booked here. The fans have gone largely silent, and even if Chelsea were to go on now and get a second, it would be purely academic. They lead 1-0 here with 9.5 minutes to go, and Drogba's got a yellow card.
Manchester United have a second goal at Wigan. The title is on its way again to Old Trafford. News of a goal at Goodison Park. Richard Askham.
Yes, Ray, Everton, I think, are in the UEFA Cup. They lead by 3-1. Yakubu from the spot after Leon Osman was brought down in full flight. Yakubu calmly dispatching the spot kick. Everton 3-1.
Ryan Giggs, by the way, is equalling Sir Bobby Charlton's appearance record today. It is absolutely fitting, perhaps, that he scores the goal that sorts it out for Manchester United.
It's the Champions League final on the 21st of May because he could break it there if he plays there. Now, I have to say, the goal that wins United the title is an exquisite bit of football. Rooney breaks inside from the left-hand side, I think it is, and threads the ball through an Ivan needle, splits the Wigan defence apart. Giggs collects it and, as cool as you like, puts them 2-0 up. It's a superb bit of football.
Yeah. We have seen the title race settled in the last minute and a half. Lee Dixon, well played, Manchester United.
Yeah, well played, and I think they have deserved it. And if any man is fitting to score the goal that wins it for him, Ryan Giggs, who to me has been probably the best player in the Premiership since it started.
We'll just break off for news of yet another goal at the Riverside. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, Man City are already on the coach home, or at least I bet they wish they were. It's now Middlesbrough 7, Manchester City 0. Jeremy Aliadier, a second-half substitute with the 7th. It's going from bad to worse for City. 7-0, 5 minutes left.
This is absolutely embarrassing for Manchester City this afternoon. Embarrassing doesn't do it justice. 7-0 to Middlesbrough. To Fratton Park, Andy Barwell. Fulham on the verge of pulling off one of the most remarkable escapes ever in football.
Certainly, Ray, yes, it'll be 4 wins out of their last 5 games. They looked dead and buried a month ago, but Roy Hodgson's got a pretty solid-looking lineup to his side now. They lead here by 1-0. Danny Murphy, the scorer. His opposite number, Portsmouth boss Harry Redknapp, looks a little unhappy with his side, very frustrated with their efforts this afternoon. He really wanted to end a spell of losing games going into next week's FA Cup final at Wembley. A long 90 seconds plus stoppage time for Fulham if they want to hang on, though. It's Portsmouth 0, Fulham 1.
Reading can do nothing about their situation as far as relegation is concerned because they're winning. They need Portsmouth to try and get them out of trouble in the next few moments. Alan Biggs is watching Reading's performance away at Derby.
Well, they performed well, Ray. They don't deserve this, quite frankly, on this performance. Just less than 2 minutes of normal time remaining. Reading lead 3-0. There's nothing, as you say, they can do about their fate. They have helped themselves here today, but they're helpless right now, despite the 3-goal lead in this match with James Harper, Dave Kitson and Kevin Doyle all on target for a team that had failed to score, and this really is where Reading will be relegated if it happens in their previous 6 games. But they do lead 3-0 here. They're waiting and they're simply hoping.
It was winning hope for Birmingham this afternoon. Andrew James at St Andrews.
Yes, and they've done their bit in winning, Ray, but the hope has gone surely. Birmingham 2, Blackburn 1, Murphy and Jerome for Birmingham. Pedersen's goal in between those for Blackburn. Ominously, though, Ray, bearing in mind the situation in the boardroom here at Birmingham City, some 30 policemen have just moved into the area around the director's box where David Sullivan and David Gold are sitting to protect them from protests from fans, as Cameron Jerome scores a 3rd goal for Birmingham City, the 2nd for Jerome on as a sub. It's Birmingham 3, Blackburn 1.
Now let's go back to Fratton Park, because the only way the relegation issue is going to change now is if Portsmouth do something. Andy Barwell.
Well, they're really trying now. Harry Redknapp, their boss, is on the edge of his technical area. The 4th official has just put his board up. We've just started 3 minutes of stoppage time. Here comes a corner kick for Portsmouth. It's been cleared. It's been cleared by lost by Nevland, the substitute, who's back doing some really sterling work. Booted away now by Paul Konchesky. Fulham desperately hanging on. They've now got about 2.5 minutes of stoppage time. Remember, they lead here by 1-0. If it stays this way, they stay in the Premier League.
The video printing confirming another goal this afternoon at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 7, Manchester City 1. Goal at Upton Park, Mark Bishop.
Yes, Ray, a capacity crowd, just under 35,000. The West Ham fans absolutely ecstatic. It's West Ham 2, Aston Villa 2 with, 1.5 minutes remaining plus stoppage. Dean Ashton, who else? He's been my man of the match. Edge of the area, turned and rifled a shot past Scott Carson. Terrific goal, and all this, of course, after Solano put West Ham ahead. Ashley Young with the equaliser. Barry made it 2-1 from close range, and now it's 2-2 with just over a minute left plus stoppage time.
Another goal in the Derby-Reading match. Reading fans are going to remember at the season, if they end up getting relegated, that they couldn't score for ages, and they got all their goals on one day when it didn't really matter. Alan Biggs.
Absolutely, Ray. Derby 0, Reading 4, and all Reading have done with the fourth goal is simply pile on the irony. Stephen Hunt with a cross, Leroy Lita, who's led the line well up front, with a bullet header into the roof of the net from close range. Derby, incidentally, if they fail to score in stoppage time here, will have the worst Premier League record besides the worst points tally. In terms of goal scoring, that is, it is full time here. It's Derby County 0, it's Reading 4, and Reading's relegation, if it happens, will please no one other than Fulham.
Let's just quickly bop back to the Riverside for news of the Middlesbrough-Manchester City match and that other goal. Steve Sutton.
Yes, it's Middlesbrough 7, Man City 1, Ray. Couple of minutes of normal time still to go. Ilano with a good solo effort to at least get City onto the score sheet. But the reaction of the day was from the City fans. And in fact, it's now 8-1 because Alves has just scored his third, Middlesbrough's 8th. City again ripped apart, 8-1 to Middlesbrough.
The closing stage of the match of Fratton Park now. Portsmouth against Fulham. It's this game that's going to decide whether there is just a closing twist and yet another turn in the relegation issue. Andy Barwell.
Ray, Fulham are leading by a 1-0 from Danny Murphy. Still, they're doing some defending at the moment. It's Aaron Hughes. He knocks the ball back. It's Casey Keller, the keeper, that's got it. There's 10 seconds of stoppage time left here. Nervously, people on the bench of Fulham are checking their watches as well. They're waiting for referee Mark Clattenburg to blow his final whistle, and there it is. Fulham have survived this terrific Premier League run of theirs. 4 wins out of their last 5. This, though, absolutely crucial for them. It's ensured their Premier League status. Some Fulham fans have got onto the pitch, but Fulham, all the team, though, celebrating in the middle of the centre circle. Just checking Roy Hodgson, just gets a pat on the back from Harry Redknapp. He's really earned his bonus here as Roy Hodgson. Fulham are staying in the Premier League. A month ago it didn't look likely, but they've done it. A win at Fratton Park by 1-0.
Well, congratulations, Fulham. Garth, what can you say? That absolutely terrific performance by them. Meanwhile, to see the absolute dejection for the Reading fans away this afternoon at Derby. Alan Biggs reporting.
Yes, despite the score of Derby 0, Reading 4. Reading's relegation certainly will please nobody apart from Fulham. They've been welcome and respected members of the Premier League. In particular, Steve Coppell, the manager, has injected a healthy dose of sanity into the top flight and his players a lot of honesty and integrity. It's not today's performance that's ultimately cost them, but the 6 games prior to this where they failed to score. Ironically, 4 goals today. Harper, Kitson, Doyle and Lita. They've won 4-0, but Reading are down.
Reading relegated after the case of second season syndrome. Having finished in the top half last season, they've struggled this time round. 8 successive defeats really dropped them into the bottom 3. They never really recovered. Meanwhile, as far as Fulham are concerned, it is just a sensational performance. Their great escape is complete. 3 wins in 4 games lifted them out of the relegation zone last weekend for the first time since Boxing Day. They've managed to extend their 7-year stay in the top flight. Danny Murphy and the rest of the players, and Roy Hodgson, we have to say, should be in contention for some of the awards that get handed out at the end of the season.
Absolutely, and the turning point for Fulham, as far as I'm concerned, has to be Fulham 3, Manchester City 2. When City were leading 2-0, Fulham were dead and buried, they were gone. They've somehow turned it round, and they've survived, and their Premiership status is intact.
Jimmy Bullard has been absolutely influential in making sure Fulham are staying up, and they are staying up in the Premier League for next season. news filtering through, no doubt, to St Andrews. Andrew James is there. Birmingham are going to be relegated.
They are, but they're going down with some sort of style, Ray. Fabrice Muamba scored a 4th goal for Birmingham City on the back of 2 from Cameron Jerome. But Howard Webb blows the whistle, and he blows the whistle on Birmingham's latest spell in the Premier League. It's finished here. Birmingham City 4, Blackburn 1.
So Birmingham 4, Blackburn Rovers 1. It was a case of win and hope for Birmingham this afternoon, wasn't it, Gavin?
Well, today they got the result. That's all they could do. It's the rest of the season. I mean, Alec McLeish, I think, is a good manager. I think he's the manager that could bring them back up again, for sure. But they've got things to do there, and they've got to build over the summer. Very disappointing, though.
So Birmingham 4, Blackburn 1, but Birmingham are relegated. As far as the Premier League title race is concerned, we leave St Andrews, we go back to the JJB Stadium because they're the closing stages of the Wigan-Manchester United match, and Ivan Gaskell is there for us. Manchester United just closing out their 10th Premier League title success.
Yes, Wigan 0, Manchester United 2. We're into added time. Not sure exactly how much there is, but frankly it looks immaterial now. United have wrapped this up in historic fashion. Ryan Giggs equalling Bobby Charlton's long-time standing appearance record for United. Incidentally, I'm told Charlton did that, set his record against Chelsea, ironically, but Giggs has come off the bench. Ryan Giggs, in this second half, has scored the second goal. The reigning champions, in the rain, are going to hold on to their title here.
Well, it's academic, but let's go to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea are playing Bolton. Chelsea had a chance to pinch the title. That was if Manchester United slipped up, but they haven't. Roger Johnson.
No, they're going to win this game. We're into the second of 3 added minutes at the end of the match. It's Chelsea 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Andrei Shevchenko, the man who scored the goal. Bolton have defended resolutely. They've had 10 men behind the ball for most of the 90 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have had a number of other half chances. They've hit the woodwork as well, but ultimately, although they've won, they've come up short, and they saw John Terry stretch it off as well. He must be a major doubt for that showdown with Manchester United in Moscow 10 days from now. Chelsea leading 1-0 deep in stoppage time.
Champions League final to come, of course, in Moscow. Chelsea and Manchester United. To Goodison Park, Everton against Newcastle. Everton have their 3rd top 6 finish in 4 years. Well done, the Blues. Richard Askham.
Yes, Ray, they've won by 3 goals to 1. Yakubu set the ball rolling with a thumping header just before the half hour, and from that point the Blues dominated, but it wasn't enough to stop Newcastle equalising. Michael Owen converting from the spot, and Everton did become a bit frustrated at that point, and just as the home fans started to think the worst, Everton pulled away again. Lescott with a calm volley after great work from Fernandes made it 2 before Yakubu sealed it with an emphatic penalty late on.
A painful sting in the tail to the season for Chelsea. Roger Johnson.
It's academic, but it's now Chelsea 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. Matthew Taylor, the goal scorer, after Chelsea couldn't clear a corner. It went through Petr Cech's legs. He'll not be too pleased. Here's Shevchenko at the other end, hits the side netting, 1-1.
And let's go to the JJB Stadium as we say congratulations to Manchester United. Manchester United have their 10th Premier League title. League champions for the 17th time in their history, just 1 behind Liverpool's record tally now. The 19th major trophy Sir Alex Ferguson has won in 22 seasons at the club. When his achievements in Scotland are added on, Sir Alex has won 27 major titles. That's a post-war British record. Ronaldo starts the celebrations off as Manchester United and their fans will receive the Premier League trophy just after 5 o'clock. Congratulations, Manchester United. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
Yes, who can deny Manchester United the lavish celebrations that are unfolding on the pitch at the moment? The whole squad doing a diving slide towards their jubilant supporters. It's a sea of red and white, and frankly they deserve it. United unquestionably though today rode their luck. Penalty claims for a Ferdinand handball dismissed. Scholes might have been sent off for a second yellow, but wasn't. Question marks too over the foul from which Cristiano Ronaldo coolly converted another penalty, which turned the title United's way. Wigan, make no mistake, were excellent today. They fought every inch. The thunderstorm that raged around here today, adding a suitably dramatic backdrop. Then, after a number of scares, a fittingly historic title-clinching goal. It equalled United's all-time appearance record, with Ryan Giggs rising from the bench to calmly convert United's second. Cue a rather large party. There may yet be another bigger one in Moscow in 10 days, who knows? Wigan 0, Manchester United champions again, 2.
Let's go to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea leading till late in the game. Roman Abramovich has to wonder now whether his side can get the big prize that they crave in the Champions League final in Moscow in a week or so's time. Shevchenko came onto the pitch. Chelsea leading for most of the game. Bolton equalising in the last few moments, but academic because Manchester United didn't slip up away at Bolton. Roger Johnson reporting.
Yeah, it finished Chelsea 1, Bolton 1, an afternoon of exasperation for Chelsea. They laboured long to break down Bolton's resolute defence. It took just over an hour before that goal from Shevchenko that you mentioned, Ray. Chelsea hit the woodwork and extended Al-Habsi, while Petr Cech, largely a spectator, and let that stoppage time shot from Matthew Taylor through his legs. He was also the Chelsea goalkeeper, the innocent perpetrator of a first-half injury, which saw John Terry stretchered off. Keeper and captain collided. Terry departed for X-rays on an arm injury. His appearance in that Champions League final must now be doubtful. Chelsea knew they needed to win here to stand any chance of taking the Premier League title. They didn't. It finished Chelsea 1, Bolton 1.
Let's go to Upton Park. West Ham against Aston Villa. Aston Villa have their first single-figure finish since 2004. Mark Bishop.
West Ham 2, Aston Villa 2. A terrific advert for the Premier League. Dean Ashton rifling home the all-important equaliser, edge of the area in front of a capacity crowd of just under 35,000 near stoppage time. Solano's stunning free kick put West Ham ahead. Young equalised from close range after hitting the post. Barry then put Villa ahead again from close range. Green, what a terrific double save he did to deny Kruenap on the haul. But at the end, Dean Ashton the hero. 2-2 it's finished at Upton Park.
Let's go to the Riverside. This is a look away now moment for Manchester City fans. Steve Sutton.
Certainly is, Ray. 8-1 to Middlesbrough, the final score. We've had the good, the bad and the ugly this afternoon. The good, Middlesbrough's goals, 3 from Alves, 2 from Downing, Johnson, Rockenbach and Ali Adier chipping in as well. And Middlesbrough's reaction to Sven-Göran Eriksson at the end. They all shook him by the hand. The bad, well, that's just how bad City were. And the ugly, some ugly scenes involving City fans at the end. They're surrounded by police at the moment. There are dogs on the pitch as well, police dogs. It's all ended terribly, terribly badly for City. Final score, Middlesbrough 8, Manchester City 1.
And that is a massive embarrassment for Manchester City. To the Stadium of Light, Damien Johnson.
Sunderland 0, Arsenal 1. A party atmosphere among a full house at the Stadium of Light suggested celebrating survival was Sunderland fans' priority. Arsenal won it with a first-half strike from Theo Walcott. A standing ovation for Sunderland's Dwight York on what may be his farewell. It was a chance for the latest youngsters off the Wenger production line to get a taste of the Premier League, and it's a winning taste, 1-0.
And let's go to White Hart Lane, where David Garrido watched Tottenham against Liverpool.
Spurs 0, Liverpool 2 at full time. Very little riding on this game, but both sides did have a good go. Fernando Torres, the big difference. Just after flicking on for Andre Voronin's opener, the Spaniard cut in from the left and slotted home a second to become the highest scoring overseas player in his debut season in the Premier League, with 24 goals, 33 in total for Spurs. Dimitar Berbatov showed a couple of flashes of brilliance, but it may well be his last game as a Tottenham player. Spurs 0, Liverpool 2.
And all the results are in. Time for Tim Gudgeon to confirm the final scores.
And on with the Barclays Premier League results. Birmingham City 4, Blackburn Rovers 1. Chelsea 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. Derby County 0, Reading 4. Everton 3, Newcastle United 1. Middlesbrough 8, Manchester City 1. Portsmouth 0, Fulham 1. Sunderland 0, Arsenal 1. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 2. West Ham United 2, Aston Villa 2. Wigan Athletic 0, Manchester United 2. In the Coca-Cola Championship Playoffs semi-final first leg, Watford 0, Hull City 2.
Plenty of post-match reaction to come, and the Barclays Premier League trophy is due to be presented in round about 10 minutes' time. Plenty of post-match reaction to come, but here's the final Barclays Premier League table of the 2007-2008 season. Manchester United, Premier League champions for the 10th time. It's the club's 17th league title overall, just one behind Liverpool's record tally. Chelsea have now finished in the top 2 for 5 years running. Arsenal and Liverpool complete the quartet of Champions League qualifiers. Everton will play in the UEFA Cup next season after a second successive top 6 finish, while Aston Villa's best season in 4 years earns them a place in the Intertoto Cup. Manchester City hope to gain backdoor entry into Europe via the Fair Play League. They'll discover later in the week whether they stayed ahead of Fulham in that table. Awful end to the season for Manchester City, hammered 8-1 today at Middlesbrough. So, well, Fulham could be in Europe next season. What a turnaround. They will definitely be in the Premier League. They moved out of the relegation zone last weekend for the first time since Boxing Day, and the great escape is complete. Derby have equalled Loughborough's 108-year Football League record of managing just 1 win throughout the season. Birmingham, like Derby, make an immediate return to the Championship, and Reading complete the bottom 3. They only dropped into the relegation zone last weekend, but are demoted on goal difference after 2 seasons in the top flight. The SPL, Celtic lead by 4 points. Rangers have 2 games in hand. Motherwell in pole position for 3rd place and the UEFA Cup spot that comes with 3rd. Now, it's a 10 start for tonight's match of the day. As ever, all the goals, all the saves and all the major incidents from all 10 games will be included in the programme. 10 start for match of the day. And next Saturday, of course, it's the FA Cup final. Coverage from Wembley gets going at 20-1, kick-off at 3 o'clock, Cardiff versus Portsmouth. FA Cup final next Saturday. So, what an afternoon. Let's just take a look what happens now as far as league title successes for Manchester United. Well, they're absolutely 1 behind Liverpool now. Liverpool 18, Manchester United 17. Then Arsenal, Everton, Aston Villa, Sunderland, and Newcastle, Sheffield Wednesday and all those clubs on 3. But Manchester United only 1 behind Liverpool's 18 top flight title successes. Garth, Lee, Gavin, quite an afternoon. Congratulations to Manchester United. They went to Wigan, had to win, and they did it.
Did the job, and when you watched on Match of the Day, there are certain key moments. Rio Ferdinand in the first half should and could have had should have had a penalty in my view against him. Steve Bennett decides or doesn't see it but doesn't give it. Scholes, second yellow, could have gone off, but suddenly they turn that fortune around, and in the second half they take control and they go on to win the championship, and Ryan Giggs is the man to do it. How fitting.
Yeah. Worthy champions, Lee.
Yeah, for sure. I think over the course of the season you end up where you deserve to, and I think a lot's been said, and quite rightly so, of Manchester United attacking prowess throughout the season. But for me, defensively, the 2 centre-backs, Vidic and Ferdinand, and the full-backs, Evra and Wes Brown, for long periods of the season have been absolutely outstanding. And you can't win titles unless you're solid at the back, and they've proved that, and their goal difference has proved that. They've got an excellent goal difference, and if it had come down to it in the end, they could have won it on goal difference, but they didn't need to, because normally big players, when they need a big performance, get one. They didn't play that well, but you don't have to win championships. You just grind out the results at the end of the season.
So Alex Ferguson continues to assemble sides. He adds players to it, and they come in and they enhance his team.
I think that's why Jose Mourinho called him the Godfather, because he is the man, isn't he, that has done it, been up there for so long, and that's the test of quality. Can you keep doing it? He has, and his teams have. And I'd agree with Lee, in as much as they've scored so many goals and they've played such great attacking football. That is a huge goal difference they've got, and they deserved it. Today, I thought the luck was with them in the first half. They went on to run out and win it okay and deserved it. And for Chelsea, I'm just seeing pictures of John Terry coming out with his arm in a sling. Is the damage bad enough to keep him out of that Champions League final? Because now you're looking ahead. Can Manchester United do the double?
Let's get back to Ivan Gaskell's at the JJB Stadium now. I would imagine preparations are underway for Manchester United to be promoted with the trophy.
Yes, they are indeed, Ray. It's taken them a while. There's a lot of fireworks about to launch into the Lancashire sky. Frankly, we've had enough with the thunder and lightning that's been raging around us for the last hour or so. The rain has eased and United have been celebrating. There is an absolutely huge rank of photographers to my left, just in front of the United supporters, who've been dancing virtually endlessly since the final whistle. Most of the Wigan supporters are here as well, which is really good to see. 3/4 of this stadium, you might imagine, could have emptied on that final whistle, but to pay their respects to what is, let us all acknowledge a fine United team. Most of the Wigan fans have stayed behind to watch the celebrations that are about to unfold. The United players have gone off, they're about to come back on, and they're about to be presented with the title. They're getting used to this.
And from the JJB Stadium, let's just pop to Stamford Bridge, where Didier Drogba obviously is very disappointed that the title has not gone to Chelsea. But Chelsea have to make sure they raise themselves, because there is another game to go. Chelsea could still win the Champions League. John Watson's at Stamford Bridge this afternoon. John, what's your assessment of the season now it's completed?
Well, there's obviously no trophy here, Ray, and it wasn't even a victory for Chelsea in the end, because Matt Taylor scored in the 93rd minute for Bolton in a game which Bolton distinguished themselves by their defending. Chelsea had to work ever so hard to even get in front through Shevchenko. My assessment of the season is that, ironically, Avram Grant only lost 2 league matches out of 32. One of them was in his first game away to Manchester United, which now assumes a bit of significance, of course. And the other disappointment for him was dropping 2 home points here to Wigan, which I think at the end of it all, that Emil Heskey goal, these things are decided by fairly slender margins. What you have to say about Manchester United is they've won it on goal difference because they scored more goals. And I suppose you have to say, as a result of that, they're the more entertaining team. They probably play with more flair and flamboyance than Chelsea, and it's now a question. You saw John Terry coming out there looking very delicate with that left arm bandaged. He went off after 11 minutes, Ray, and I think the last word is, will he be fit for the European Championship final?
Doesn't look like he's going to be fit looking at those scenes there, but well, carnival atmosphere. The sun is out, the sombreros are out. Fulham's great escape is complete. 3 wins in 4 games lifted them out of the relegation zone last weekend for the first time since Boxing Day. They've managed to extend their 7-year stay in the top flight. And I have to say that Fulham's survival is one of the stories of the season.
Yeah, and no more graphically illustrated that at Eastlands, when Manchester City were leading 2-0 up against Fulham, and we all in the studio thought that Fulham had gone, they were down. They spun it round, they won that 3-2 in dramatic fashion. And of course today, and Roy Hodgson is all smiles, and quite rightly, he deserves everything he gets.
Great character on that particular day as well, Garth. They were down. Yeah. They were down at one point, and it's just been a Houdini act. Some key players have come back fit, for Roy Hodgson in McBride and
Bullard, who played a fantastic part.
Lee, would you agree that sometimes Roy Hodgson wanted the team to play in a certain way? It took it took a while for everything to sort of filter through, but he stuck to his principles and has been rewarded.
Yeah, and I think the players have responded to how he's been calm, he's collected, he's never come and rant and raved after games, he's shown his passion in interviews, but he's been very focused on the job in hand. Normally going in towards the end of the season, you need a bit of momentum. They didn't have that, so for them to go on and actually survive is a testament to what he's been saying in the dressing room at the end of the season.
There's the other side of the coin, because Fulham winning away at Portsmouth this afternoon meant that Reading were relegated. Really bad case of second season syndrome, this. Having finished in the top half of the table last season, 8th in fact, they really struggled over this campaign. 8 successive defeats really started to put their season a real negative pattern, and they couldn't really climb out of that, could they? They had a little period over the last few weeks when they threatened that they'd get back in to safety, then it all fell away again.
The problem, lack of goals, isn't it, for Fulham, for Reading this season? Real lack of goals, and that affected their confidence. They went on that bad run. Steve Cock was a great manager, has done tremendously well, and ironically he was battling with another thinking man's manager as well in Roy Hodgson. Hodgson comes out on top.
Ray, it's very important to mention that Reading's defeat against Tottenham at home was absolutely critical to their demise. And of course now, what does this mean for Steve Coppell? Because he won't answer questions about his future, regardless of what happens. So there's now a cloud over the manager there at Reading.
Well, agony and ecstasy, both sides of the coin being shown this afternoon. As far as relegation is concerned, all you can say is well done Fulham, because they found the performances at the right time. We'll be hearing from the relative managers at the moment. By the way, well done Everton, finishing 5th in the table,
absolutely.
in the UEFA Cup as well.
Yes.
Their consistency over the last few years has been
sensational, and they finished in great style today as well.
Yeah, it still amazes me. When the Chelsea position came up, that people like David Moyes he wasn't mentioned. Now, David Moyes is a top manager and has done tremendously well with Everton season after season.
He might get a chance this summer then, with Aaron Grant's not there.
You never know.
Who knows?
Well, I think as far as Everton are concerned, that consistency, Kevin Keegan saying no one can break into the top four. Well, Everton managed it a few seasons ago, and their consistency with limited resources just shows the progress they're making as a club.
I think he's done a fantastic job, and he's turned the way they play the football around. Yeah, they're organised, but they've got goal scorers in there, and they've got a bit of flair now, which is I think they're a very, very good team that could possibly break into that top four at some point.
Right, let's hear from the Fulham manager, Roy Hodgson. What a dramatic final few months of the season it's been. But Roy Hodgson has led Fulham to safety. He's talking to Jonathan Pearce.
Roy, what was that like sitting there? Yeah, it was tough, I must say, especially seeing as we knew that Reading were winning so comfortably at Derby, and we also knew at half-time that Birmingham were leading, so we knew it was going to be very tough, because in the first half, I thought we played reasonably well, but Portsmouth were defending very well. The chances were few and far between at both ends, and I knew it was going to take a lot to win the game. But luckily, Danny Murphy, with a bullet header, came to our rescue, and we end up staying up at the cost of two other teams who must be bitterly disappointed today. And my thoughts are with them in a way, because for long periods during this game, I was contemplating that this post-match interview would be discussing our future in the Championship. And of course, I'm the lucky one, and they're the unlucky one. So my thoughts go out both to Alex McLeish and to Steve Cobham.
Congratulations, Fulham and Roy Hodgson. Congratulations, Manchester United, who lift the Premier League total for the 10th time in 16 seasons, the 17th time overall. Sensational performance by Manchester United, Garth.
Absolutely right, and who would begrudge them these celebrations? I think the Championship there just shows that they proved to be the best side, not through goal difference, but through points. They've played arguably the best football in the league as well, run very closely by Arsenal, and congratulations to them.
I think it's fitting there that we saw Ryan Giggs picking the trophy up, because over the last 10-15 years he's been absolutely outstanding. People have criticised him this year. Some of the United fans I've heard of saying he's past his best. Of course he's past his best, but he can produce performances like he's done, and to overtake a legend that is Bobby Charlton's record, or to go level with it, I think he's been outstanding. Great career.
Sir Alex Ferguson is enjoying himself, and he has every right to.
After that, he has every right to, Ray. He's brilliant. He's the man to look at as a manager. And in Ryan Giggs, he has someone, an extension of himself, almost on the field. Consistency, great quality, attacking play, and always keeping, the head right. And I think that's what Giggs has shown. And Alex Ferguson always keeping his head right, always starting again each season, wanting to win again and again.
That's 19 major trophies for Sir Alex Ferguson.
Absolutely amazing. And do you know why he keeps winning them? Because he wants to, and he's a winner. And that shows in his team. When you've got winners on the sidelines, it transfers into your team.
Only the 5th time, I think, the Premiership title, or the title, has been won back-to-back. And we all in the game know just how difficult it is. United have done it for the 5th time.
Some of these players are enjoying these scenes for the first time. And the thing about Manchester United is, I think that they feed off each other. They want to do it time and time and time again.
And then they'll look ahead now, won't they, and think, can we do the double? They'll want to do the double now. Champions League.
Eyes go direct to Champions League, don't they?
Sir Alex Ferguson will give them one night tonight, and then he'll be back to the training ground ready for Champions League.
Yeah, and well done, Ryan Giggs. A quick reminder that for news on all today's football and for sports news across the board, the BBC Sport website is constantly being updated. Via the red button, our football service continues now till 6 o'clock. More post-match interviews are on the way, and more of the title celebrations. Gavin, Lee and Garth will discuss some conclusion to another Premier League season. But for now, this is where we say goodbye to BBC One viewers.